Hello everyone, I'm Kich. If you want to know more about Russia and you understand my English, please welcome to my channel. Today we will discuss Sri Lanka, and it won't be a regular travel blog as you can find thousands of them on internet. I want to share with you my observations and the insights that I got after visiting Sri Lanka. I won't compare Sri Lanka and India. I will show you advantages and disadvantages of both these countries. After that, of course, we will concern some questions of political life on Sri Lanka, attitude of locals to tourists, and what main patterns we can take from this my experience to use them when we observe Russia, Belarus and the other countries. So today we will discuss Sri Lanka, India, China, Russia and Belarus, so a lot of countries. Let's begin. So my first impression of Sri Lanka was incredibly cool. Before that I had experience. I was twice in India. I hope you were in India and I hope you like this incredible country full of contradictions because yes, for one hand it's dirty, poor, dangerous, etc. And for other hand it's friendly, hospitable and rich with their attitude to tourists. But on Sri Lanka it's a bit another. So when I arrived to Sri Lanka, first what I impressed it's a view from the window of the flight, because when you are landing in India, especially during the night, you can see these spots of disorganized spots of light who looks like an illness. Like skin illness. When you arrive to Sri Lanka, you see well-organized villages, lights, so it's something opposite of what you expected. After that, in the morning, through the window of my hotel, I saw the stadium where nice Sri Lankan people in white clothes played European games. After that, I took tuk-tuk with the accounting machine. I was so surprised. I arrived to touristic place, like a fort area, and I saw these beautiful people around. That is in contrast to Indian people, because talking true, Indian people, they're physically not very beautiful. A lot of ugly people there, but in Sri Lanka, absolutely opposite. It's such a beautiful people, just regular taxi drivers and tuk-tuk drivers. A lot of them so beautiful guys, like models. So and I published the post in Instagram that wow, Sri Lanka, it's India plus Photoshop. But the first person whom I met a little bit disappointed me. How it was. So imagine I'm in touristic place and the guy began to communicate, local guy began to communicate with me, and I expected, and it was first guy with whom I talked, and I expected that, you know, it's like in India, because Indian people, they just talk with you because like they want to be friendly. They ask how is your life, what is your name, how is your family, how is your country, etc. And they really care about that. So this guy, he talked with me and he say, oh, you're so lucky. I go to the church, this special temple, because today it's a special day in this temple when it will be important celebration that you can catch only once a year. Now I go there, do you want to come with me? And I say, of course I will come with you. We arrived to this temple, yes, and I was surprised. Nice temple. Look on this video, that is a guy. So we visited this church, and after that the guy say this temple, and after that the guy said and now I go to a jewelry shop because I want to buy a special lucky sapphire, so do you want to come with me? And I say yes, of course, why not? And when we arrived to this jewelry shop, I understand that everything was fraud, because this guy the vendors, the sellers, all of them, they pushed me to buy this affair. I bought the ring. I like the ring. After that, I talk with another people. They say that I overpaid, like, okay, 15 or 20 euro, no problem. But they push me to buy expensive stone, and this guy whom I met, he kind of, how I understand that this is theater. Because first of all, he bought this stone for 1,300 euro, and of course I couldn't believe in that, because I see the guy, I understand that no, this guy, he doesn't have this money, So, and I understood this is a theater, and I thought, okay, I continue to watch how it will be. After that, we went to the beach. Please, I want to prevent all girls, don't follow me, don't do the same. It's very dangerous in such countries as India, Sri Lanka, and all Asia. It's very dangerous for girls, for women to communicate with locals. In the end of the day, this guy kind of come back to the shop to get his new ring, and he said, do you want to come with me? And I say, yes, of course, I'm curious about this new ring. When we arrived to the shop, of course the ring was not ready, and they continued to try to sell me all these stones, different stones. Watch this stone and this stone, do you want discount, etc. And in conclusion, when I said that I want to go to home, he says that I should pay half for the taxi. And I was so surprised, and it was kind of insulting, because I'm a Russian woman. I never pay for any taxi if I'm with a man. Okay, sometimes our friends, they say like, now I'm a bit poor, so please let's share the bill. But they prevent about that before we go to cafe or restaurants. But mostly men know it's like inappropriate to push women to pay half for anything. So, and for sure the half for the taxis that he ordered for us, and he called me to go everywhere, so I dropped him. On next day I take a taxi. Why I explain you all that? Because in conclusion, in the end, you will see how is bad karma on this island. On next day I arrived to the park. I take a taxi driver. I ordered tuk-tuk for whole day. No, it was not for whole day. I told him, I will I take you on 4 hours. I will pay you 2,500. In conclusion, I used him 7 hours instead 4, and he asked me 6,000. Unfortunately, I'm not able to bargain in this kind of cities. It's really difficult for me to live. I was so angry, and you know, this 1,000 is nothing for me, but for his karma, it's just terrible, and he will pay for that with his health or anything, I don't know. So in a park, I walk a bit in a park. In fact, I just wanted to make this couple of videos of Buddha, etc. And when I finished to research the park, this old man come to me, and he was so nice, and he said, oh, welcome to Sri Lanka. I work in this park during 31 years. I'm a master of this park. He showed me some documents, kind of idea, I don't know any document. And he told me, I will show you some interesting plants and some interesting birds. And I said, no, I don't have time for that. Unfortunately, I have a taxi who are waiting me. And he said, no, only 1 minute. And he so pushed me to show me these plants, and I so denied to watch that. But I thought, okay, maybe this old man, he is a bit boring, and he wants to talk with a nice Russian girl just to communicate a bit. Okay, I will give him this opportunity to communicate with me. So I spent him these 10 minutes. He showed me different grass and plants and these beds. And when I left already, he told me, so please lady, give me some tips. And I was so insulted, because I thought that I make like acceptation for him, because I give my time for him, and because I saw that he's just master of this garden, and I want just appreciate him, and in conclusion he is just regular beggar. It was so disgusting. So it's just a small 3 episodes. It's just what I can remember, but these difficulties, this attitude to you as for tourist, you meet on Sri Lanka all the time. If you ask the price of anything, they told you 4 times more expensive than it is in reality. Because you are a tourist, it's not, and I have impressions that it's not like that in India. Of course, Indian people, there are some beggars, and but you understand that in the beginning, and they present themselves. They say, let's I offer you city tour, and you can understand immediately by these poor people that in conclusion they will ask tips, and it's your decision. Do you want to talk with them or not? But not on Sri Lanka. On Sri Lanka they talk with you like they are friends, but in conclusion they are not friends, they are beggars. During my holidays on Sri Lanka, there was election day. So I spent 2 days without alcohol. It's very boring on holidays, and I met some tourists who were very sad because yes, 2 days on holidays without alcohol, it's very boring. But it's okay. So what they had in conclusion on election. Now small excursus to political life of Sri Lanka. Actually, this new president, it's a brother of that president who was a president 5 years ago. You know, like in Russia, it was Putin, after that Medvedev, after that Putin again. So they had the same system on Sri Lanka. Let's call him traditional guy, and the guy who was a president during last 5 years before last election, let's call him a liberal guy. So this traditional guy, what he did? He did something very funny. He signed some agreements with China. China built a port, some cities, hospitals, some communities, airport, etc. on south of Sri Lanka. For now, nothing worked. Everything empty. They didn't manage to invite ships, flights, and doctors and people to live in these cities. Like that, they didn't earn anything. And what did China? China pushed them to give the land, so they have to pay to China with the land. After that, they changed president. And what did traditional president? Of course, I don't have any proofs, but in April of this year, just before 6 months before election, there was terrorist attack on the island. There were a few bombs in Christian church on the day of Easter. There was a bomb or terrorist attack in expensive European hotel, in expensive 5-star hotel that are mostly used by foreigners. So as you understand, it was huge kick for touristic sphere of Sri Lanka. And this traditional president, who was new candidate on this election, he say, I will stop with these disgusting Muslims, I will protect you. Of course, this kind of liberal trash as me, because I so like this liberal trash, it's one of commentators named me like that. I think it's a compliment. We liberal trash, of course, we understand that it's really, there is opportunity that it's a traditional president who organized this terrorist attack. And me, as Russian liberal trash, I can say that in Russia we understand that terrorist attacks, it's like the unverbal way for government to communicate with society, and everyone in Russia knows that usually these terrorist attacks they accused, especially in that time when it's very useful for President Putin. It's just complot theory who are not popular among high level of society, but such liberal trash as me, I I can think everything what I want. So they choose a new traditional president. I mean, all the traditional president. Sri Lankan people are incredibly involved to political life. They discuss political life all the time. The result of new president, I suppose, like 80% or 90%. It's all the time. It's the same as in Russia. And when I talk with the master of my last hotel, it was only one really nice hotel where it was really nice attitude for me. But you know, it's all the time they're so cold. They're not like Indian. They're very cold. Maybe it's because they were a Holland colony. You know, it's like in Holland. Stone face. And I said, oh, it's only your hotel, it's called Chami Villa, I recommend to you. And I told him, oh, you know, mostly another hotels, they are so not hospitable. And he said, yes, because we had bad karma on our on the island due to our liberal president. But I think that it's you know, it's society who have this bad karma, because all these cheaters who communicate with tourists, what is there in their head? I can't believe that inside the society they have the same relations. I just had the impression that all of them like enemies one to another. What I wanted to say about Belarus in this video, I wanted to say that China looks like an instrument of the karma. So I'm really afraid for Belarus now, because Belarus take a lot of credits from China, and they built this plant of car. It's called jelly, and quality of this jelly is incredibly low. It's a car who absolutely destroyed in 5 years. So I'm really afraid that Belarus will not able to sell these cars, and they have to pay with their land. What I wanted to say about Russia. Before that, I thought how it happened that we have Putin in Russia, that we have Lukashenko in Belarus, and another president in other countries. How it happened that that Canadian president is so beautiful. And you know, I heard this all nations are managed by that president whom they deserve. So and I thought, oh, I don't want to believe that I deserve Putin or I deserve Lukashenko. But when I'm in Belarus, I understand what they mean. I want to say that majority of population, they are really like Lukashenko. So Lukashenko is, you know, it's countryside boy, like a shifty, like a snake, and for one hand, like for justice, etc., no corruption, etc. So is Belarusian people. Yes, they are kind and hospitable and for justice, but if they see the road, they are like a snake. They just go their road. For Putin, you know, this system of corruption that Putin built, and majority of Russian society, exactly the people who voted for them, it's people who appreciate corruption. Majority of them, they say, I like corruption because with money I can resolve all my problems. Because in other countries they consider that without money you can't resolve any problems. They don't understand that there are just another systems of resolving problems. Or about USA, for example, of course they deserve Trump, and as I understand, half of population, not 75% like in Russia who voted for Putin, but 53% who voted for Trump. It's exactly followers of Trump. If before I didn't saw any link between government or president and country, after this visit to Sri Lanka, I see the link, and I believe this sentence that we deserve our president. I just recommend you to take care about your own karma and take care about you, about your next, about tourists in your country. Be hospitable. If this video was interesting for you, thumbs up and subscribe on my channel.